Hey, 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 hey. That was odd. See how every time I get ready to record, some things try to interfere with this throat chakra? Foolish. Can't do it. Won't do it. But it just never fails to amaze me on when I go back and edit some, not all, of my videos. That is an amazing, beautiful dog. But my videos, I'll notice, and it's like as soon as I start recording, I'm either clearing my throat a lot or you name it. Okay, I was complimenting your dog, sir. Not you. Anywho, hey. It's been a little minute. Been busy. Been getting some things to put out and share with you all. But, I encourage and practice self-care. So today, while I had a little time, I came to one of my favorite locations. And as I was driving here, I was already getting downloads. And I got me a little snack. And whilst enjoying my snack, more downloads came in. What's the lesson here? The more we relax, the more energy flows. So in your spiritual practices, if you're noticing that, or you feel like your manifestations or your petitions, whatever you identify, your spells, whatever rituals, if you feel like they're not working, stop. Think about it like this. When things constrict, it's harder for things to go through. So if you're tense, if you're doing work out of desperation, and I understand, especially the way the economy and other things are going on right now, it seems almost like you have to work out of desperation. Don't. This is where our faith has to kick in. This is where our faith is very, very important. Okay? That was important. Try to get me. Because when we have faith that no, we don't know what the outcome is going to be or how it's going to arrive, but we have faith that it's going to happen. It doesn't matter. It's going to happen. Okay? When you have that faith, you open up your roads. You open up that vessel. I'm a nurse, so throw that in there. You open up that vessel for things to flow through easier. And that's what we want. We want things to flow with ease. If we're tense, tight, just think about it. If you hold your body taut and tight, when you release, you're sore. That's how come I try to tell people, those that will listen, don't put age. Oh, I can't do this and that. It's because I'm sore. It must be because I'm getting older and this blah, blah, blah. Not really true. Your body is having physical manifestations of what you're holding on to. You're walking around tense. You're a ball of tension. You're just a ball of what have you. So your shoulders are up. Well, you go to bed at night, they finally relax. But by the time you get up, they're like, and you go to move, it's like, oh my gosh. Because now you're not doing this. They've relaxed. They've had time to relax, whatever amount of time you've rested. So they're not in the same position. So now that you get ready to take off, get up for your day, your body's responding, which is a good thing, by letting you know, hey, these shoulders are drawn up near our ears. Tension. Your lower back, your knees, your hips, because you're carrying weight that is not yours. Sometimes it's ours, but it's in a combination of other people's stuff as well. So that's message number one. The next message I have for you guys is this. Be mindful of what you pray or petition for. This is what I mean. Often, throughout time, I hear or I've seen people pray for patience. Be careful. Because what we pray for, if it is for us, we're generally going to get it. When we pray for patience, the higher ups is going to help us to what's the word I'm looking for? Not deliver. To create that, obtain that, okay? So again, there's exercises, because I don't like to use the word trials, tribulations, even challenges is a bit challenging of a word, okay? There's exercises that will happen, potentially happen, that will help you to achieve the goal that you're reaching for. But let's dissect this. There's other talents, skills that we can pray for that will help us achieve our bigger goal, which could be patience. But do you really, really want patience? Is what I'm asking. Do you really want patience? Is that what you're wanting? Do you want divine wisdom? Do you want divine knowledge? Do you want divine freedom? Is it something that you feel like lack of patience is keeping you from? Because that means patience is not our goal. There's something else. And all too often, we're not breaking down our steps, which in turn will knock us back, or as some call backsliding. Again, not one of my more favorite terms. Just because it has such a negative connotation, and it will get here, which will get here, and then it manifests out here. So, we don't want it to hold us. We want it to mold us. So, example. you're praying for patience. Say you're driving and see, message, try me. And what you're really actually wanting to have is not have road rage, okay? So maybe you're saying, give me more patience while I'm driving. So now what do you think is going to happen? You have just called in more of what irritates you until you learn to have patience while driving. So those cars that cut you off, or they're driving extremely slow, or they ride your bumper, that particular route that just irritates you beyond measure. That's going to happen more. So we don't want to ask for patience. Maybe you want to ask for a pleasant ride to and fro. Maybe you want to ask for a safe ride. Maybe you want to call in calmness and peace while you're driving, as well as the other drivers. But remember, we're only in control of ourselves. So be mindful, because what good is it going to do for you to get exercises to increase your patience that are only going to make you blow up? Then you're just going to feel like, well, I failed. It's no reason. Or prayer doesn't work. And we all know that it's not true. And if you don't know, you will. And remember, there are always some not so friendly energies that are lurking around and listening to you. So if you're on the phone, or you're just yelling out loud how much you hate stuff, how much every time I go this way, this happens, every time I pull up here, this happens, they are listening. And they will play on that. Now, only God has the ability to hear words that are not spoken. Remember that. Because what we're doing in 2026 is we're calling our power back. We're taking away that power from people, places, and things that are actually powerless. They're just utilizing what tools and information we have given them to make themselves seem bigger. And they're not. They're not. Not at all. And you can say that. Not big whatsoever. You're powerless. You're only trying to utilize what you've heard me say. And I rescind all of those things. I call my power back. Nothing, no one has permission to absorb my power, to use my power, to use my own words against me in a negative connotation. Say those things. Speak it into existence. Life and death lies where? The power of our tongue. Remember, curse words. Words can be blessings. Words can be curses. another message. Opening your roads. So recently I was having a conversation with someone, and in the conversation it was stated that if it's not for me, it's not for me. That's God's way of saying it's not for me, or something to that. Something that we've all heard or said in our lifetime. And as a minister and shaman, I agree but not. And let's dissect this. When you work with me, take one of my shamanic programs or any of my up and coming endeavors, one of the first things that I will definitely ignite and influence in you and upon you is the importance of mindfulness and meditation. And here is why. I understand you get on the internet, on different social media platforms, and there's this spell, do this and do that, and and it looks all good, all pretty. And then you come over to work with me, join one of my programs, and what? We have to do mindfulness and meditation. How boring. But not. One of the major tools in your spiritual practice is your focus, your intention. You must be clear. You must be focused. If you're doing a spiritual work and your mind is on the grocery list, picking the kids up from school, what you're going to eat for dinner, your next shift or whatever at work, something that could be going on within your family, you literally just scattered your work. So being able to focus, sometimes even in a chaotic environment, is essential. You have to be able to bring in that peace and tranquility into an environment, especially if there's an instance where you may have to do spiritual work there. And in all truth, in reality, as practitioners, we're pretty much doing spiritual work everywhere we go. You're at the store and this person is very hostile, they're argumentative, just not friendly whatsoever. You can put the fire out or you can ignite it. And again, you do not have permission to be in control of another human being. I don't care what history has tried to tell people. You don't own anyone. You do not have permission to take someone's life, and vice versa. Don't get me on that soapbox. With that being said, you do have control of yourself. So again, you're in the store and someone's being erratic. They're just being. Okay. You want to keep yourself in a calm, cool state while also keeping yourself safe. But if you're focusing on their actions you're not able to focus on what you need to call in for yourself. That is why mindfulness in your practice, in your magical arts, is important. When you're working, and if you utilize particular spirits, elements, deities, ancestors, angelic beings, what have you, you need to know who you are what working with. Very important. You go to set up an ancestor space and things like that, and you're calling in any and everybody, you probably do not know. Most of us don't. Everyone in our bloodline and history and what they did. Especially certain generations, it was very, shh, don't say this. So you're calling in Uncle so-and-so that was the molester, rapist, drug addict, just not a good person. Or you're calling in Aunt Susie, who never liked the family because she never liked herself. She does not want to elevate. No, this is her location. She's not who you want to call in. This is not who you want to do work with. Now, there are certain practices where you may call in some shiesty energies. There are, but you definitely want to be in control of that situation. Again, mindfulness. To the road opening. No, I took off in a whole different direction. But, mindfulness and meditation, near and dear here. By the way, make sure you head over to my website and enroll in my mindfulness and meditation program. We're stepping it up in 2026. We're getting mind, body, and soul all together. Okay. My shameless plug. So, there are times when, yes, God does to keep us from going down the wrong path. God and our higher spiritual team will shut down some roads. But we also shut our own roads sometimes. We also may have been on the phone with that friend telling them all of our opportunities and potential, and they're so mad, so envious, and so jealous that they're literally doing work to close our roads. And yes, no one's bigger than God. I don't care what you do, what your so-called title is, how long you've been practicing. I refuse to believe that you're bigger than God. But that does not mean, depending on your spiritual alignment, that they do not have the capability of shaking some stuff up. And that too could be part of your lesson. So therefore, again, by practicing mindfulness and meditation, you will be able to tune in and go, is this a God closing my road, or is this something else? Because if it's something else, I also need to tune in and see what type of work do I need to do. Is there a cleansing? Is there some road opening? Is there some blockbuster? What do I need to do to handle this? Because these things can be blocking your health, your finances, your relationships, your friendships. Some you are going through it with your loved ones. Because even before you were born or your parents were born, there was someone who's spoken into your bloodline. That every time you and your loved ones get in a good space, they want it cut off. Every time you get close to the finish line, cut off. So it is very important to know and understand there are times where work has to be done to clean, cleanse, purify, protect, and open your roads. It's not always, well, that's just God. And it is God doing, but there may be a bigger lesson. Bigger than somebody coming and telling you this, that, and another, so that you're coming and pouring into their tithes and offering every Wednesday and Sunday, and they're the ones that are praying for your downfall and your roads to be blocked so you can keep coming back next week or twice a week to pay them to make things happen for you. But you see no changes. But you up here hooping and hollering and in your Sunday's best dressed, dancing across the stage. Listen, don't get me started. Don't get me started on that one. I'm doing better on that. But okay. Practice mindfulness and meditation. If you're going to pay into anything from this moment forward, when you receive this message, you pay into yourself. Quit giving these spiritualists and practitioners a hard time talking about the price and the cost of the work or the programs or different things we do, when you know you done spent $200 probably plus a week, every 2 weeks, a month, and you have no results. Little to no results. And you will be back Sunday faithfully, and you still will have little to no results in some instances. Not all. I'm not shaming all. I'm not shaming any. But we're gonna speak. We tell the truth here and shame the devil. Know what's God and what's not. God is not a God of chaos. God is not a God of confusion. God is not a God of pain. If that man, if that woman, and whatever they are bringing pleasures to you also comes with pain, confusion, chaos, and arguments, I'm going to tell you for sure that's not God. Because none of those things, fear, doubt, none of those things are God. God does not want us struggling. God does not want us uneasy. Now, some of the paths that we may travel, they may be uneasy, but upon review, we probably chose that path. That is not the path that God generally wants us to take. Again, there may be lessons on paths that God has us taking, but not lessons that are painful. Normally, when the pain and the confusion and the anger come in, we added our own ingredient to the recipe. We were not using the recipe that God gave us. We have now added our own ingredients. But that's a message for another time. (2026) is an amazing year. It is the year of the fire horse. So yeah, there's going to be action. There's going to be action. Good action. Good. I see lots of financial stability, prosperity, abundance, wealth, and love in 2026. A lot of growth, physical growth, spiritual growth. I see a lot of road opening. Good things. I see people really, really falling in love with themselves again. And that's amazing. It's ours for the taking. Be like the fire horse. Get it. Get it. Not exhausting yourself. When I see people talking about they've worked so many hours, or I've been up for 20 something hours, even my spiritual practitioners, Spirit had me going for so and so and so and so amount of time. That's because you have not set boundaries that you should have. Because that's spirit. They don't have a physical shell anymore. So they don't know. Now you on here drained, exhausted. You can see that you're tired, which means your vibrations are lowering, which means that you are becoming easy targets for low vibrational entities. I do not care how powerful you think you are, how spiritual you think you are. You are still a vessel. We are still vessels. And if you don't keep it all together, those trickster spirits, those not so friendly energies, they will come creeping up before you know it. Message and message received. You all keep being great. Message me for readings. My personal readings are open. Message me. Visit my website. Wonderful soaps and butters and scents. I'm just so excited to have these out. Keep being great. Take your time. Remember, it's a journey, not a race. God loves you. I love you. You love you.